Hey guys, Vitalis here. Welcome back. And as you can tell, this is a Let's Review. So I'm doing this video a little differently today. What you're seeing right now is me earlier building my new base in a new Let's Play world. And no, I'm not starting over from scratch. I did not create a new character. I just took my my Let's Play character, Urgy, and I just brought him into a new world. And I also took along with me some of the, well, I should say some items, basically stone, and some other miscellaneous stuff. And we're going to build ourselves a new base. Well, I talk about the 1.0.6 patch. So anyways, yeah, the reason why I'm doing this is because I can't multitask and build a base and talk about the patch at the same time. It's just, I just became too distracted. So I figured it would be a good idea just to have some footage of me building my base and having a separate track, or having myself recorded after the fact, where I can explicitly focus on the new changes and additions and all that stuff concerning this patch. So 1.0.6 finally came out. It came out on Tuesday, yesterday, as of this recording, and I'm really excited for it. I have to say, I referenced this in some of my prior episodes about some of the changes which were much needed, particularly inventory management. And I've learned a couple of things regarding it. One of the nicest features is the ability to quickly offset all your items. Well, not all, but most of your inventory to a chest. Like, you can offset, I think, what is it, a 5x5? So you can offset 25 items, boom, with a single click. So that makes transferring items in and out between worlds and, well, chests in general, if you want to keep a more organized approach, much more of a snap, or much more of a breeze. You're not having to sit there and click one box, click another box, one box, click another box. So it's nice. So I have in front of me here the complete changelog here for 1.0.6, and I'm just going to kind of go over it and just kind of give you my take on the patch. So this patch introduced 4 new enemies. One of them is a spike ball, which I guess is an immortal enemy. I don't know why any enemy would need to be immortal, but it is. And also a blazing wheel, which is also an immortal enemy. I haven't seen these enemies yet, so I don't know what they look like, but I'd imagine that they probably look like how they're described. Dungeon slimes are also new. They contain golden keys when you kill them, and they're only found in dungeons, obviously. And a new goblin, a goblin scout, which I am assuming, again, you will only see during the goblin invasion. So that's cool. They have added, that's cool that they added new enemies. I'm a little confused as to why they have 2 immortal enemies. It makes no sense to me. But whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, we got some NPC changes here too, mostly AI changes to the existing NPCs. Hornets in the underground jungle now shoot stingers. These stingers have a 1 in 3 chance of poisoning their target for 10 seconds, aka you. If you get stung, you get poisoned. Now, I'm a little concerned about how this works, because it's been my experience when I've been in the underground jungle that there's always more than 1 hornet. In fact, I've seen as many as 6 at the same time, all trying to kill me. So I have to wonder if this this poison debuff stacks, because if it does, you're gonna instantly die. I'm assuming it probably doesn't, but you know, I have no idea. I haven't actually encountered this yet, so I can't say for sure how that works. But anyways, Cursed Skulls now have a chance to apply the Curse debuff. Cursed Skulls, I believe, are those little floating skulls that kind of stalk you when you're in the dungeon. I think that's what they're called, Cursed Skulls, yeah. Bats, Harpies, and Demons. The Bat, Harpy, and Demon AI has been improved to prevent wall hugging. Well, that's cool. I mean, I've noticed that on several occasions, you know, where they just kind of sit there and, you know, bounce against the wall trying to attack you. It's kind of lame to see them do that, so that's a good change. Slimes, when in water, will now turn around when they have nowhere to go. Okay, sure. Great. Man-eaters and snatchers now have less HP and are drawn above tiles rather than behind. Now, that was something that I found interesting, because when I was collecting my items for the Ivy Whip, I remember seeing one of them behind the ground, and I actually had to dig out the ground to kill it. So that's a good change. Lava slimes no longer spawn lava when killed. Thank you very much. I don't know why they added that to begin with, but I'm glad they took it out, because it was just absolutely retarded, in my opinion. Meteor heads now move much slower, but do a lot more damage. Okay, that's a fair trade-off. That's cool. Meteor heads obviously are those enemies that you counter when you're trying to, well, when you approach Meteor, obviously. Bone serpents now have a new death sound, and their hitbox has been recalibrated. Okay, I got nothing more to say about that. NPC's furniture requirements have changed to work with new items. NPCs now require one comfort object. This can be either a chair, throne, bench, bed, or toilet. And one flat surface furniture. A table, dresser, workbench, tub, which I'm assuming bathtub, and bookcase, for a room to be complete before they will make it their home. I just find it really funny that they actually added a toilet and bathtub. I mean, it's not like you can use them anyways, but it's just kind of funny that they're there. What else? Thorns are now destroyed after you touch them and receive damage. Thank God. I hate thorns as much as I hate cactus. So I'm glad that, I mean, that makes sense. I don't see why they wouldn't be destroyed when you touch them. Anyways, moving on. NPC bug fixes. Eater of Worlds is no longer marked defeated when he flees, and yeah, I've encountered that before, and I was kind of curious as to why it said defeated, but so I guess that, you know, that was obviously an unintended bug that they fixed. Great. NPCs that are far from home and try to return home will no longer twitch left and right when stuck. I've never seen that before, so I can't really comment on that, but cool. Hornets are correctly now unable to enter water. Okay, that's fine, I guess. I remember seeing them in the water before, but okay, it's cool. Vultures should no longer float if the sand they are perched on falls beneath them. Like I said, okay, great. Alright, so they added a bunch of new items to this game, and I'm just going to kind of go over all the item additions here. So they added Shadow Keys, which are, I believe, found killing enemies in the Netherworld, or Hell, or whatever you like to call it. Golden Keys, which are obviously dropped by dungeons slimes, as was stated earlier. Shadow Chests. These, I guess, are chests now found in Hell. I guess instead of seeing gold chests, they're now shadow chests, so it's a different type of chest, which require, obviously, the key. Obsidian background walls. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't add that when they added obsidian, but that's a nice change, because in my old world, I ended up resorting to using blue dungeon brick, which I found out the hard way that wasn't classified as a proper home or behind the scene type of wall that NPCs could spawn and use as their home. But they fixed that in this patch, so you can basically use any wall type you want, including dirt, and NPCs will, you know, they'll consider that their home as long as you have the you know, the basic furniture requirements. Let's see, they've added new mud background walls, which is now appended to any jungle biome. That's cool. New item, Jungle Spore, which replaces Jungle Rose in former casting uses. Okay. Tattered Cloth, that's cool. Battle Standard allows for manual starting of the Goblin Invasion. Now that is awesome, because that was one event that kind of kept me back, not being able to obtain my rocket boots, as you recall, or as you may have remembered. I killed the goblins and I walked out with nothing, and I was pretty disappointed. But I'm glad that now we can toggle the events manually, like we can with the Eye of Cthulhu and Eater of Worlds. It's a great change. Piano, that's a new item. I guess that's a vanity item that just sits in the background. New item, Loom, is a crafting station now required for crafting most cloths from silk. Sorry, that's cool. I actually like that. That makes more sense when crafting cloth. Why not use a loom? That's what they used in Ultima Online for crafting cloth armor. New item, Bench. Great. New item, Dresser. Okay. Bathtub, red banner, green banner, blue banner, and yellow banners. Those are little flag banners that I guess you can hang, you know, in your house or your castle or whatever. Lamppost, tiki torch. Those are cool. I've always found that the lighting items were kind of limited unless you enjoyed chandeliers or candles, but I'm glad they added more methods of lighting. Barrel, okay, that's whatever. Chinese lantern, I guess that's considered a light as well, so that's cool. A cooking pot. Okay. A safe, which is a separate private storage from the piggy bank. That's cool. I like that. A skull lantern. Alright. A trash can, which I'm assuming works the same way as the trash can feature in your inventory works, but we'll get to that. A candelabra. I think that's how you pronounce it. Candelabra? Not sure what that is, but okay. Pink jar, mug, keg, ale. Okay, so I guess it's all beer related. Right on. Bookcase, throne, bowl of soup, toilet, grandfather clock, and statue. Alright, more crap to put in your house. I have no problem with that, you know. Works for me. So moving on, they've changed a bunch of items, and I'm just going to kind of go down this bulleted list here. Wooden tables, doors, and workbenches now have improved looking graphics. That was actually one of the first things I noticed when I logged into my world for the first time. It looks a lot better. The doors don't look like cardboard anymore. They actually look like doors. They have, you know, the what do they call it? The bezeled sort of, you know, the 4 bezel square thingies on them, whatever they're called. So I like it. I like the changes. I think that's definitely a nice thing. Glow stick price has been reduced and now are brighter. Sweet. That's one thing that I always found the glow sticks a little dark, but then again, I mean, they're underwater, so that kind of makes sense. Coins now leave a sparkle trail when moving. So I guess if you were to throw, you know, a copper coin or whatever, it would sparkle to indicate that it's more, I don't know, more valuable or more noticeable or something. So that's cool. Jungle Rose is now a rarer drop and is no longer used to craft. Yeah, I remember getting like 50 of those in like literally like 30 minutes. Those things were dropping like crazy off the mobs and vines and stuff that I would destroy while in the jungle. So, okay. Grappling hooks can no longer be spam shot. You must now wait until your previous shot lands or returns before you can throw another. You know, I don't know about that. That's just, I mean, I don't know. I guess now you gotta be more careful when aiming your grappling hook. I don't really see the point in that change, honestly. I don't. whatever. Suspicious looking eyes will now sometimes be found in chests. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Flame Lash, Sun Fury, and Flower of Fire are no longer dropped. They are now found in shadow chests in the underworld. I actually like this change a lot more. I don't know why, but I like finding treasures in chests as opposed to treasures that drop off mobs. So I like that. That's a cool. It's a nice change. Ash and mud no longer fall due to gravity. Thank God, because I absolutely hated that mechanic. I can understand sand, because sand is loose in general, but mud and ash, I never understood that logic. I mean, like, why is it mud or dirt can float, but mud can't? Why would, I mean, like, that change never made sense. That implementation never made sense to me to begin with. So I'm glad that they reverted that, because it was just kind of stupid. Hailstone no longer produces light and is more rare. Okay. Hailstone now spawns lava when it is mined, but only in the underworld. See, I don't quite get this change here. You ever hear the term "you can't squeeze water out of a rock"? Well, how do you squeeze lava out of a rock? I don't get that. It's from what I recall reading in one of the developers' forum threads. They just wanted to make Hailstone a bigger challenge when mining, which I don't know. I mean, just being in hell in general can be kind of challenging, especially when you got mobs shooting projectiles from you from every freaking location possible. I mean, the projectiles already go through the dirt and everything else, so I mean, I don't know. Hell can be difficult if you don't have the right gear, I suppose. So, I don't know. I think that was kind of a cheap tactic for them adding challenge to the game. I think there's a better way they could have done that. And something tells me they'll probably end up reverting that next patch. That's just my intuition. I mean, look at the change with them, you know, giving or having lava drop when you killed lava slimes. Like, that was stupid. And they actually ended up reverting that back because they found out it was no fun. Well, I'm sure it's going to be the same case when they, you know, when people complain about mining Hellstone. So, like I said, I bet you anything that this will be changed next patch, but anyways, moving on. Cacti no longer cause knockback, making running through the desert less of a hassle. That was something I've been seriously anticipating, because I absolutely hate running through the desert. But now that it's not an issue anymore, I don't care if I take 1 damage, but the knockback was absolutely ridiculous. Especially if the item was, I don't know. I just never understood that, but I'm glad they at least got rid of the knockback. So that's fine. Potions now offer less HP on use, and their cooldown is now a minute. Yeah, I kind of saw this coming, and I do remember them mentioning that they were changing the way the healing mechanics work. So now basically healing potions, which used to heal for 200 HP, now heal for 100, and lesser healing potions do 50. And obviously they've increased the cooldown from, I think, what was it, 15 seconds to a minute. I'll get to that in a bit. Placing background walls is more simple, as 1-block holes are now automatically filled in. This is a change that I seriously love, and it makes building your bases a lot more streamlined. I will say, excuse me, I will say that placing and destroying backgrounds was one of the dumbest things. I should say one of the most tedious things to do when building buildings, and I'm really glad they changed that. You'll immediately know off the bat when watching the footage how quickly I can destroy dirt background and replace it with stone. It's oh god, that's such an awesome change. I can't even, like, I don't even have words to describe how awesome it is. It's just awesome. Flails, which are basically like the ball and chain weapons, now have a different mechanic. You can spin them by pressing left and right. I guess, yeah, left and right using your A and D keys fast over and over after they have been thrown while holding down the mouse button. I haven't actually gotten a chance to test that yet, but I have a Sun Fury on my other character here, and I might have to check that out. all place background walls are now considered house walls. Yes, even dirt and dungeon walls. Like I said, this was an issue, you know, with one of my older worlds, but I'm glad they changed that because I never quite understood why different colored brick walls were not considered house walls. But like I said, they changed it, and I'm glad they did. 2 of the same type of accessory may no longer be equipped at once. I can see their reasoning for doing that, because I think with the changes to the healing mechanic, people would be more tempted to stack Band of Regenerations. So I don't know what to think of that just yet. I had to play the game. I had to play more of the game to really have an opinion on that. Fishbowl recipe has been changed to require bottled water rather than just an empty bottle. Okay, I don't know anything about that, but okay, cool. Armors are now more class type specific, and their stats have been set accordingly. Meteor armor buffs magic damage, and the set bonus is no cost using the space gun. No cost of mana using the space gun. Molten armor set bonus melee damage. Okay. Shadow armor buffs melee attack speed, and set bonus is movement speed. Necro armor buffs range damage, and set bonus now reduces ammo consumption. Right on. Jungle armor buffs max mana and magic crit chance, and set bonus is reduced mana usage. Several magic items and weapons have been rebalanced, including but not limited to the Flower of Fire, which does more damage and costs more mana. Okay, it's a fair trade-off. The Band of Star Power now adds 20 mana to your maximum and no longer adds mana regeneration. Okay, I know they changed the mana regeneration as well, and we'll get to that in a second. Orb of Light now moves slower and is now listed as a buff that you can remove if you so desire, and also know its remaining duration. Okay, that's cool. Magic Missile is now quicker and is launched when you release the mouse button rather than disappearing. Sweet. Flame Lash is launched when you release the mouse button rather than disappearing. So same concept with Magic Missile. Meteor armor and molten armor no longer glow. Now this change I don't understand, because your weapons, your molten weapons, like your fiery greatsword, your molten pickaxe, and your molten ham axe, they glow. So you would think with that being molten, like it would emit that fire effect and produce light, right? So why take it away with the armor? Was it because it's too good? I just don't get that change. That's something that, again, I think that's something that they are playing with. It's something tells me they'll end up bringing it back, because I just don't see the logic in them taking out the that effect. I mean, you still have the flame effect, you know, with both the meteor and molten armor, but they just don't glow, which I don't get. Like, how can you not have? How can you have a glowing effect, you know, where, you know, fire is coming out of the armor, but not light up the room? I don't get that. What? That's stupid. That change makes no sense to me whatsoever. Anyways, Star Fury now does a bit more damage, requires more mana, and now works underground. If the star is spawned inside a wall, it will be able to travel until it reaches open space and then becomes solid, colliding with the wall it hits. Okay. The Mini Shark now has a 33% chance that shooting the weapon will not take ammo, so it does not consume as much ammo to use. Okay, I'd never used a Mini Shark anyways, but I guess for somebody starting out who wants a ranged weapon, that would be a, you know, welcome change. So sweet. Flintlock pistols and muskets are now a bit stronger. Sweet. Item bug fixes. Bottled water can no longer be crafted by standing near lava. I've never noticed that, but that's pretty funny. Night Owl potions now work correctly, which I've used one of those before, and I could never tell what they actually did, but now I guess that was a bug then, so I'm glad they fixed that. Piggy banks should no longer float when the ground beneath the table on it is moved from beneath them. Okay, never noticed that, but okay. Melee speed increase items are now calculated correctly. I know that was a bug, I believe, with the molten armor. So glad they fixed that. Cacti no longer destroy blocks as they grow. Now that was that was something I actually noticed when I was building my alchemy lab. I noticed the cacti growing was destroying the blocks as it grew. So interesting. All right, so here's some changes regarding the game interface, and these are a lot of the changes that I really like. There's now an option to disable pickup text. That's text, whenever you pick up an item, it tells you what you picked up. I'm glad they made that toggleable because it got kind of in the way, oftentimes for me. New hotkey for grappling hooks defaults to E. That's nice. So you don't have to keep your hook shot on your main, not 1 through 0 hotbar or hotkeys anymore, which is great because I don't know. I always thought hookshots should have their own binding, especially considering how you have your own key for healing yourself. So I'm glad that they added that, and I've set mine to Q because I use E for accessing the inventory. Hotbar slots now show their hotkey number. Okay. The mana bar is now blue, and text for gaining health is now green. Okay. Interface boxes are now colored differently. Inventory is blue, equipped is green, craft is purple, shops are brown, piggy banks and safes are pink. Okay. Okay, nothing more to say about that, but okay. Hotkeys for mana and healing potions now work correctly with rejuvenation potions. I do remember having a rejuvenation potion, and I remember it being like on top, above, I guess above like where my healing potions were, and I remember it never working. So I'm glad they fixed that. Right-clicking on an accessory or piece of armor in your inventory will auto-equip it. Nice change. I like that. Newly obtained items will now be placed starting in the bottom right of your inventory rather than the previous top left. I like that change a lot. And I like that change because I don't like items auto-populating in my hotbar if there's nothing in them. So that's a much welcome change. There is now a trash can slot in the inventory. Placing an item here will destroy it. However, the item will be saved in memory until another item is destroyed, allowing you to retrieve it if you wish. Holding shift and clicking an item will move it to your trash can. Yeah, I don't know if shift clicking is the right key to use for throwing stuff away. I think that's better used for like offsetting an item from your your inventory to like a chest or something, kind of like how Minecraft works. So I really don't know what to say about that until I deal with that on a more regular basis here. When at a chest or piggy bank, there is now an option to loot all. Oh, thank God! That makes it so simple to transfer, items from one chest to another, because everything is done in a single click. Versus, click, 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 click. From inventory to chest, from chest to inventory. So that's a much welcome change, and I'm glad they implemented that. This is continuing on. This will take all items inside the chest bank if there is room. If not, it will take all items starting from top left. There is also a quick stack option for the reversed effect. If the chest you are viewing has items stored in it that you are also carrying, this option will stack the items into the chest, combining several stored and carried stacks. Oh, that's good. I like that a lot. So, like I said, it makes auto-stacking a lot more simple. Makes it easier to offset, excessive items in your inventory. Great change. I like that. When at a chest or piggy bank, there's now an option to deposit all. This will take all items not in your hotbar, starting from the bottom right slot, and place each item that will fit into the chest or bank. It will stop when space runs out. Like I said, I like it. It is no longer possible to drop items through the spaces between boxes in the inventory. Now that was an annoying bug, and I'm glad they fixed that, because I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally dropped things when sorting things in my inventory, so I'm glad they fixed that. Stone tools will now give you an idea in their tooltip of what they can mine. Example, can mine meteorite. This particular thing would have been useful if this was implemented in the prior patch, considering the fact that I assumed that crafting a shadow hammer would be good enough to loot that Hellforge. You might remember that. And then I had to go and trigger another meteor to make the meteor ham axe so that I could get to the next tier of armor and tools. So that's a great change. That'll make it a little more, you know, convenient when knowing what tools work with what. Great change. There are now 4 ammo slots. Ammo may be placed here to declutter your inventory. Weapons will take ammo from these slots first, and will then take from any in the inventory after they are empty. I like this change a lot because oftentimes I like to, you know, at least I don't know. I haven't used the range weapon that much with my new Let's Play character, but you will definitely see me using it a lot moving forward, especially because I had to kill all the bosses again to, you know, get access to the NPCs and stuff. So I'm glad that they added this. I like that a lot. There's now a toggle in your inventory that when clicked will lock your hotbar and not allow you to change your currently used hotbar item by clicking it with the mouse. Only the 1 through 9 hotkeys and the mouse wheel will scroll to them at that point. Good change. I like that toggle. That's the common thing that's used in World of Warcraft. You know, you have your hotkeys set, and sometimes if you mouse click on them, sometimes you would accidentally drag them off the binding, and it would screw you up. So I'm glad that they have a toggle lock option. Hotkeys can now be used to change selected item when the inventory is open. Cool. Shops will now sell items back to you. Holding shift and clicking an item while at a shop will quick sell it. I like that. I think that should also work when at a chest. It should just automatically put it in the chest when you shift click instead of throwing it away. But you know, we'll get to that later throughout the Let's Play series. You can now quickly clear and cancel your chat message hitting escape. Yeah, that was a much needed change for multiplayer servers. I can't tell you how many times I had to sit there, I'd type this long message, and then somebody would say something else, and then I'd have a response to that, and then I'd be like, ah, crap, alright, hit escape, realize, oh yeah, that doesn't do anything. So I'm glad that they finally made it easier for the people to clear their chat queue. I like that. Alright, so moving on, miscellaneous here. Gameplay. New feature, critical hits. There is now a small chance that you will do more damage to an enemy. I like that. Makes you know, your damage variety a little more interesting. Damage types. Damage is now separated into melee, range, and magic damages. This will be used going forward for a few different systems, such as buffs, debuffs. Items will list what kind of damage they do in their tooltip so that you know what will be affected by what buff. I like that. I like that a lot. Great change. Players now heal automatically when not in combat. You are flagged as in combat for when you are damaged by anything. The longer you have spent after getting hurt will increase your HP regen speed slightly. Yeah, you know, I've played with this a little bit. I think, considering the 1 minute cooldown between potions and the fact that you kind of nerfed how much regen they do, or how many hearts they regen, I think you need to increase the regen a little more than what it's currently set to. Personally, I don't know. We'll see as we move forward. Mana now recharges on its own when you are not casting, slowly if you are moving, and fast if you stand still. I like this change a lot. This actually gives a lot more incentive in using your magic items and stuff, since the regen was always kind of a limiting factor before, and you having to spam mana potions, which shared cooldowns with your health pots. So it kind of gave the player, you know, less incentive to use mana because you're more concerned about staying alive than running out of mana. So I'm glad that the mana mechanics been changed here. I like that. Character creation. Added new 19 hairstyles. Okay, that's great. There's now an option for a male-female. This is used to change the character's voice. This way, any hairstyle could be used for either gender. Okay. When choosing your own hairstyle. Okay. When choosing your hairstyle, you may now right-click to cycle through the hair selections backwards. Okay. There are now 3 difficulty modes that are used when creating a character. Softcore, which drops coins on deaths, keeps max HP and mana values. Medium core, I like that verb. I like the use of core here. Medium core drops all items on death, keeps max HP and mana values. Hardcore drops all items and deletes your character on death, requiring you to start a new character. On death, you will become a ghost that cannot interact with the world until you log out. I can tell you one thing: I will never bother wasting my time playing hardcore. There's just no point for me. I guess for a player who really enjoys a challenge, then you know what, knock yourself out. But that's not something that I will ever waste my time with. Game text corrected some spelling errors and also the placement of percent in some potion tooltips. Okay, added several new randomized game subtitle captions. Okay, miscellaneous and character creation color selection has been renamed shoes. Fantastic, I guess. Music and sound. New music. Corruption. That's actually the music that I used for the opening of this particular episode, just to kind of give you guys an idea as to what it is. But to be honest, after listening to the corruption music, I still like the jungle music better. So I'm going to keep using that moving forward. There are now sounds for the following actions events. Talking to an NPC. Mana becoming full. Also shows a purple sparkle on the player. Using Water Bolt, Flame Lash, and Flower of Fire. Starting to drown. Some sounds have a randomizing pitch change, like sword swinging, to make them have more variance. Now that's cool. And I want to go back to the mana becoming full indicator. That's a cool change. I should probably test this before commenting on it first, but assuming that they don't have a notification for when you're low on health, or some sort of visual, like, you know, red, glowy, you know, thing around your screen, I'm just gonna say, if they didn't add that, and like I said, I'm only going on speculation here because I have yet to die since, or reach close to, you know, get close to death since as of this new patch. But I can tell you, you know, I remember watching some of the first videos of Terraria that were released on YouTube from the developers, and even one of the developers, I believe it was Blue, said, yeah, we should probably add some sort of indicator when we're low on hearts. And I hope they did it. If they didn't, man, what the hell are you guys waiting for? That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I can tell you from watching 3 different Let's Plays of Terraria, every single one of those players have said the same thing. Like, there needs to be a low health indicator letting you know, like, hey, use a potion or whatever. So, if that has not been implemented, then you guys deserve a smack in the face for not implementing it after so long. But again, I will find that out soon. Let's see, they also optimize finding tile frames, so worlds should load faster. I haven't noticed that change at all on my computer. It still loads in the same amount of time as before, so maybe this is something that's more noticeable for a lower spec computer. I don't know. And moving on, world generation. More gems spawn in the jungle. Okay. Hell houses now spawn differently. A world's hell house can really spawn as all obsidian, and they can now get really tall. Okay, they need to reword this because I don't quite know what that means. Underground jungles now have a mud background. Yeah, I said that before. Dungeons should no longer spawn in the ocean. That's never happened to me, but that would actually would have been kind of cool to have an underground or underwater dungeon. Kind of reminds me of the water temple from Zelda, but oh well, they changed it. No big deal. Deserts now spawn slightly further away from spawn. Okay. Dungeons now spawn with more spikes and less lighting. Yeah, I hate spikes. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And given the fact that molten armor no longer provides light, I like that even less. Underworld ash is now filled with more lava pockets, making Mining hellstone more of a challenge. Like I said, I don't really care for that change personally. I don't like dealing with lava in general, but I know that's something that you have to deal with, you know, being in the hell or underworld, so whatever. Some items no longer spawn in dungeons. These were meant for non-dungeon areas. Okay, great. Well, that pretty much concludes all the change, or I should say that pretty much concludes the change log for 1.0.6. So a lot of good changes, a lot of great changes, I will say, especially with, like, you know, the tearing down and building with the background walls. That was a much needed change. And then some other changes, you know, personally, like I said, I don't really understand the logic for taking out the glowing effect for molten armor and meteor. But again, I think they'll end up bringing that back in the next patch. Because it's kind of like, well, if you're gonna take away for the armor, then why is it still there for the weapons and tools, sort of thing? I don't know. And the rocket boots also give light, so you know, I don't get that. But anyways, that pretty much concludes this episode. Next episode will be Let's Play again, and yeah, we'll just go from there and you know, keep going, keep chugging along. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.